Welcome back to my channel. So today we are talking about how marriage makes you a stronger Christian. So I have been married for going on 3 years. I can honestly say that marriage can either make you or break you as a person. Marriage is such a blessing, it really is, but it really stretches you. And that can be a good thing or it can be a bad thing because it brings up the good in you, but it also brings out the bad in you as well. And I think that's by design. God, He wants us to grow, He wants us to develop and mature. And there's actually a verse that talks about that. Matthew 5:48 says, "Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect." And that word perfect, it doesn't mean like perfect, it literally means mature. So that's what God's plans is for us. And marriage is a tool to get us to that perfection, that maturity that He desires for us. One of the ways that marriage actually makes you more mature and that it strengthens you as a Christian is that you learn to forgive. And this one is a biggie because I feel like since me and my husband have been married, I have never really learned or never truly experienced forgiveness in such a visceral way. Of course, I experience forgiveness because, God forgives me. God has forgiven me of all of my sins, and I'm so grateful for that. But I want to say, like, learning to forgive other people and yourself as well. You really learn that in marriage because the person you have to forgive is literally living with you. So I've had experiences in my marriage where I've had to forgive my husband and literally just forget about it and just leave it in the past. Because if I continue to bring up or remember the things that he's done in the past to hurt me or offend me, it's going to make me into a bad wife. It's going to make me into a bad person to live with for him. So I've had to develop that forgiveness, that willingness to just leave things in the past and not bring it up again. And I think that's so huge, especially for us Christians, because oftentimes I think the hardest person to forgive is, for me, yourself and the people that you love. Because it's easy to forgive a stranger or someone you're never going to see again, but to forgive like a family member or a friend or even a coworker who's done something to you, it can be hard to let that go because you're constantly reminded of it when you see them. When you see them, you're like, man, I remember when she did that to me. So to actively work out that forgiveness and to actively forgive others is a skill to me and a muscle that has to be worked and flexed in order to get stronger. Which leads me to my next one, which is giving grace. So grace and forgiveness kind of go hand in hand because once you forgive someone, you give them grace to just leave something in the past, to see them differently. And God gives us grace. And I know it's God's will for us to be like Him. So just as He gave us grace in forgiving us and in blessing us, we're to do the same thing. So when I have to, forgive my husband, when I have to forgive my husband and leave something in the past, I'm giving him forgiveness and I'm also giving him grace, by still loving him and respecting him and honoring him and giving him, second chances. And that's because that's what God has given to us. He's given us His grace and His mercy. So we're to extend grace and mercy to others after we forgive them. Another thing I want to talk about is loving. I feel like love is something can become so cliche in our society. We're in the holiday season now. I have all my decorations up, and it's the season of the Hallmark movies, the Lifetime movies, where everyone's looking for love and everyone's talking about love and finding the one. And that's all really cool and really sweet. But true love, the Bible talks about true love and what it really is. So I just want to read what the Bible says about love. So it's 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4 through 8, and it says, "Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast. It is not proud, it does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrong." So going back to that forgiveness aspect and that giving grace. "Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, it always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. But where there are prophecies, they will stop. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away." And skipping down to verse 13. "And now these three remain, faith, hope, and love, but the greatest of these is love." So Paul is talking there about love, and it's not this warm, fuzzy feeling. There's a lot that goes into love. Like when you think about Jesus and all of the things he went through in his life, he was the perfect example of love. He chastised people out of love. Like he chastised the Pharisees, even his own disciples. He chastised them and he corrected them when they needed correction. That's love. When he went to the cross and people were literally spitting at him and beating him to death and nailed him in his hands on the cross for people who were literally hating him, people who hated him. He went on that cross for them too. Luke 23:34, he says, and Jesus said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." And he's saying this while the people who murdered him are casting lots for his clothes. Like I know for me right now, where I am right now, if people did all the things to me that they did to Jesus, I would not love those people. I would be talking, I don't even know, I would be saying so many crazy things about those people who were actively trying to kill me. But it takes so much maturity, it takes so much love for the world and so much love for people to ask forgiveness for those who are literally killing you. Oh my gosh, it just makes me want to cry when I think about people who are like that, like Jesus and Stephen, who had so much love for people that they were so quick to forgive. They were so quick to forget that, yes, these people are doing this to me, but I still love them enough to pray for them. My last dying breath is going to be a prayer for the people who are murdering me. Like, can you think about that? And it convicts me so much because I think about, you know, little offenses that my husband will do and little offenses that other people will do to me. And you know, they're not actively trying to murder me or anything. I'm thinking about me. I can be so quick to be like, oh my gosh, like that person is the worst. That person is the worst, not praying for them. And mind you, they're not trying to kill me. They're not trying to steal my man. They're not trying to steal my car or harm me in any type of way. But little things like that. So it's just a testament to me that I have to grow in my maturity. And we all have things we have to grow in and everything. And I just pray that the Lord could help me and help all of you watching this video. Maybe you're like me and you have to grow in maturity in that way. Marriage can really help you with that. Marriage really forces you to forgive your spouse when they do something to harm you, because if you don't forgive them, you're gonna have just no peace in your house. You're gonna have tension. You're not gonna be happy. So it's always best to just forgive and to just leave it in the past when you forgive and you hash things out. So yes, marriage really does help you to give grace, to give mercy, to love others, and to just pursue peace finally. Like the Bible says to follow peace with all men. In Hebrews 12:14-16, it says, "Follow peace with all men and holiness, without which no man shall see the Lord." And what better place to start than your own household and in your own marriage? It's my prayer to you that you all in your marriages, in your relationships with others as well, would just have peace and follow peace and just extend the love of Christ that we have received. So I hope you all have a great Christmas and a great week, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye!